Okay, so I don't make the best cowboy in this straw hat, and never really been much my style anyway, but we're gonna make something really special today. I love chili. It's one of my favorite dishes in the whole world, and in fact, I love things that are really super spicy, so anything that's spicy will always be on my list, chili being one of those things. Now, what we're gonna make is actually a recipe that I credit to Jay. He makes this quite a lot, and I'm gonna show you guys how to make it. Now, the kicker is that most people in our family don't like things that are spicy, so I call this Jay's tenderfoot chili, because Jay doesn't like spicy stuff and the kids don't like spicy stuff. But the good thing about chili is it's a very customizable dish, and you can make it pretty much any way you want and modify the ingredients and, hell, throw everything in the kitchen sink in it. It's going to come out great no matter what. But to make this chili, let me show you a few things you're going to need. So, of course, we're going to start with our beans. I know that, my exposure to chili in the past has really only been what you can get in the grocery aisle, and you pop open a can, and when you're in the grocery aisle, you'll see about 1 million chilies that don't have beans in them. To me, it's just not chili unless it's got beans in it. And since we are not red meat eaters in this house, we're going to be using fresh ground turkey for our dish. Some things you can use as an alternate would be, of course, ground beef, if that's what you eat. We also happen to have some great Idell's chicken sausages, and I'm not a big fan of these. They make a little bit of a weird texture inside the chili because the beans are soft and then you got kind of those chewy sausages, but this is one thing you can use, and it does impart a really good smoky flavor to the chili. We've also got our fresh veggies that are going to go in there, our onions, our garlic, the part I like, the jalapeno pepper. You can use any hot pepper you want to. And this is how you're going to control the heat for the most part, with how little or how much pepper you use. We've got our spices, which we've got our ground cumin and our chili powder, the magic ingredient. And we've got our tomato paste, some fire roasted diced tomatoes. And this is an optional ingredient that I threw in. Chili uses a lot of water. I happen to have this laying around the house that I know will never use it because the kids go, "It's too hot!" So I'm going to throw that actually in our chili in place of some of the water. And we've got some chopped onion and garlic salt. Now, these guys will help add some delicious flavor to it. And this is going to be a really super easy dish. And let's get started. Okay, so chili's not a dish you can just start making one evening. It takes a little bit of prep, unfortunately, and the most important step is soaking the beans. Now, you can go to the grocery store, you can buy beans in a can and just do it that way and start with those beans, but that's kind of cheating. So we're going to make our beans from scratch because we're going to do it the healthy way, YouTube. So we're going to start with anywhere from 2 to 4 cups of fresh beans that are dried. And you can see we've got 3 beans here. There's a red bean, a black bean, and a pinto bean. So we're going to make all 3 in our chili. So anywhere from 2 to 4 cups into a pot of water. They need to soak for at least 24 hours. 2 days would be great. But there are things in the beans that need to release into the water. And if you do not do this step, because it's really crucial, I can promise you from my own experience that you will get the most intense, most painful gas that you feel like you are going to literally explode and want to go to the emergency room.
Piusa!
Oh my goodness, it was awful. My stepmom did it one time, sorry Cindy, and we all were in intense pain for for a long time. Soak the beans, okay?
Now that doesn't look like a lot of beans.
No, it doesn't, okay? So 2 to 4 cups. This is gonna double, possibly even triple in size.
Why tell them when you can show them?
Voila! And through the magic of video, you can now see what the beans look like after 2 nights of soaking. So here's 3 cups dry beans. Now to 3 cups of wet beans that have been soaked for 2 nights. And you can see there's a big difference in the size of the beans and how much it makes. So plan ahead and do not skip this crucial step. Okay, so now we've soaked our beans in water for 2 days and we've strained the old water out. Some people leave that water in and they make their chili with that, but it's just kind of not so good. It just tastes like starchy bean water. So we've strained all the old water out. We're going to put our beans back in the pot, and we're getting ready to cook them here. Let's add our beans in. Go, little beans, go. And we're going to add hot water back in the pot, some fresh water, about 2 inches over the surface of the beans.
So we got some good news about Daniel this week. What did we get?
Daniel got an awesome report card.
Almost all A's.
I know, I felt like it was my Christmas.
4 A's and a B?
Yeah. You know, YouTube, one time Daniel came out to us after getting a D on an assignment and said, "Guess what, Dad? I got a D." Because he was afraid he had gotten something much worse. And we had a really long conversation with Daniel about how we don't expect perfection of him, but to aim higher, a lot higher. So this was really a big victory, you know.
4 A's and a B.
Yeah,
We're
and we were
proud.
very proud of him. So good job, Daniel.
Okay, back to beans.
All right, back to beans. So, okay, 2 hours over the surface of 2 hours, 2 inches over the surface of these beans, which is right about there. And we're gonna take them to our stove, put them on the good burner, and we're gonna turn it on high and bring that to a vigorous boil. And it's going to stay on that vigorous boil.
I like to call it a hard boil.
You call it whatever you want. But we're going to keep it at that vigorous boil, for 10 minutes. And then we're going to turn it down to low. And it's going to stay at low for 1 to 2 hours till the beans get soft. And you'll know from the texture of the beans, when you scoop one out and you taste it, it tastes like it's like you're normally used to from a can of chili.
It tastes like it's cooked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Too long and they get mushy, so be checking it for the texture. All right, next step. Okay, so since we soaked our beans for 2 nights, they cooked a little bit faster. So these have been on the fire now on low for about an hour, and you can kind of, come on over here, YouTube, don't be so far away. You can kind of see that they're falling apart a little bit, and they look nice and soft, and we're going to try one here.
And they actually cooked a lot quicker than we thought. So because they started to fall apart, we were like, ooh, we got to pull them off the oven.
Yeah.
So we cooked them for about 50 minutes.
So an hour, like I said.
Okay.
Yeah. So beans are done. This is sort of the base of the dish. So we can now work on building the flavor of the chili. So like that catchphrase, we're building flavor. We're going to move on now to sauteing up some onions. We've got our pan going and it's begun to heat up. A good alternative to olive oil would be sunflower oil. And we've taken our onion, and I'm going to pull it right over here for you to see. And it's pretty coarsely chopped. And we're going to put that right in our pan. And start sauteing those down a little bit. We've got 1 whole jalapeno pepper, and
Yuck.
because they begged and pleaded, I took all the hot part out of the pepper. So when you cut your pepper open, divide it into 4 quarters, take the little white part out of the center and all the seeds and rinse it with water, because that's where most of the heat is. There's still a little bit of heat in here. So this is where you control how hot your dish is. Either leave the seeds in, get really hot stuff, or take it out and make it a little milder. We're going to put that in with our onions. Chopped up nice and fine because, like I said, this is Jay's tenderfoot chili. Okay, and we're cooking that down a little bit. And my Jay the sous chef did not break up my onions.
Whatever.
Okay, and we've got our ground turkey. And this is going to go in now as well, and we're going to brown this. Come on, turkey. All right. So we're going to brown the turkey and saute the onions down, and then that's going to go in the beans for our next step. Be right back. Okay, so now all our meat is in here. We're going to stir this in. And we are nowhere near done yet. The thing about chili is that it's something you sort of have to work your way up to and taste as you go. So now that we've got all our solid ingredients in, we're going to start adding in some of our spices. And I just have to say, before we go any further, we've been getting some requests to do a cookbook, and I just want to say, are you people crazy? Because half of these dishes we sort of cook by the seat of our pants, and I don't even think we have enough to fill a cookbook. This is sort of cooking in the kitchen with Dad, and you're sort of lucky if you survive at the end of the dish. So thank you for the vote of confidence, but I doubt we'll be seeing a cookbook in the future. All right, we've got our can of tomato paste. That is going all of that into the pot. Tomato paste in the pot. It's kind of sticky, gooey stuff that never works well in a cooking video because it makes us look like we're taking our time. We've got our whole can of diced tomatoes. Can be any flavor you really like. This is fire roasted. Right into the pot. We're going to add 1 tablespoon of chili powder. Now this is Jay's recipe, so if I was adding it, it probably would be the whole, almost all of it in. Because I love chili powder. Okay, 1 tablespoon. 1 heaping tablespoon. And then we've got our ground cumin. 1 tablespoon. Okay. And
where did your apron go, by the way?
Magic of video. It just poofed.
Okay.
So this is an optional step. I'm adding this because I have it, and since it's medium and a little hotter than the family likes, I will never have the opportunity to actually use it in enchiladas. So for the people of Texas for whom chili is a high art, I apologize ahead of time, but this is our dish. So I'm going to add about 1/3 of this can.
Yeah, because if you put the whole can in there, I'd be very unhappy.
Well, it would really change the flavor a lot. Okay, so that's that. We're going to stir all that together. We're going to put it back on the heat and let everything simmer together. And we're going to keep tasting as we go. Okay, so we've got all our ingredients together here, and you can kind of see now it looks like chili. It's
yummy.
And it smells absolutely delicious. So we've got everything together, but we're going to actually simmer it on low for another couple of hours. We have a long time till dinner time yet, and chili is one of those things where it's sort of like that curry dish I make. The longer it sits together, the more those flavors blend, and the better it will taste. So we're going to leave it on low here and just walk away for a couple of hours and let it stay warm and blend together. And then we're going to make some cornbread and hopefully have a fabulous dinner. Okay, so we finally got it all put together. We've got our bowl of fresh, steaming, homemade chili. And to that, we're going to add some shredded cheese. This is how I like to eat my chili. Lots and lots and lots of cheese. We've got some fresh chopped green onions. And some sour cream to go with. Just a little dollop right there in the top. Our little extra dollop. And we've got some fresh homemade cornbread.
Which I made.
And a nice cold beer. Bon appetit, everybody.
And I believe that our love found its way through the current as the way